Welcome to my Outcast speedrun with commentary. If you'd like to see the speedrun without commentary, there's a link in the description. So, Outcast. It's a game you may have never heard of, and unfairly so in my opinion. It was released in 1999, and if you had a computer good enough to run it back then, it was fantastic. Last year, I saw that Outcast had been given a new lease of life with a new version, Outcast 1.1, recompiled from the original source code by the original creators capable of running on modern hardware. And they'd done this back in 2014. I don't know how this had passed me by, but the urge to return to the game was too strong to resist, and I was once again swept up in the story. You play the main character, Cutter Slade, Navy SEAL and 90s stereotypical badass. You've been called in to head a team to save the world. Scientists have been experimenting with sending probes to parallel worlds. They send a probe to one of these worlds, Adelpha, at which point an alien shoots it with an energy weapon and a black hole is created on our end that begins devouring Earth. Cutter's mission is to travel to Adelpha with a team of scientists, including an obvious bad guy, and repair the probe using some computer cards. Think a 3DFX graphics card, and you're close enough. You arrive on Adelpha alone, only to be informed by one of the inhabitants that you are the foretold messiah of this world, the Ulukai. They even give you a bright orange shirt to signify this. You're then told that the evil herein and his soldiers have the world of Adelpha under their jackboot, and the innocent Adelphans, the Talan, are living in fear, exploited and terrorised by heirein's forces and his Talan general, Croax. But the prophet Khazar, many years ago, foretold the coming of the Ulukai, a man who would bring together the 5 Mon, Talan religious relics, and defeat herein and Croax, allowing peace to return to Adelpha. It doesn't take long for you to find out that your team has been scattered through time, and actually obvious bad guy himself is the evil herein. Another of the scientists, the one with the 3DFX cards, was in fact the prophet Khazar, and the Mon that you have to collect are the cards themselves. If, whilst you're at it, you can defeat herein, all the better. The third scientist, Marion, who shares a rocky past with Cutter due to the death of a teammate on a prior covert mission, has arrived on Adelpha at the same time as Cutter. Their paths will cross multiple times, and Cutter is never happy about it. This story actually ties a lot of unanswered questions together in a very natural way. It explains why these aliens can speak English, how Cutter's arrival could be foretold, why apparent alien religious artifacts tie together the fates of 2 worlds. It's neat. I should say, at the time of recording this, I've not watched any existing speedruns. What I really wanted to do was come up with my own route, my own speed tech, and get my own time. It was a personal challenge. Anyway, you get control of Cutter after he's been found and brought to the Adelphan Resistance. Time starts when you skip the first cutscene. Okay, so you start off in Ranzar, which is like a tutorial world, and you have to do a bunch of tasks. The first thing to do is initiate the sneaking task, because that requires Jan here to go off and initiate it, and it takes him a while to walk there. In the meantime, we can complete all of the other tasks and grab some things that are going to be handy on the run. So we get some ammo there, we get a med kit here, and then we are about to do the shooting test, which is shooting these 3 pots. Bang, 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 and they're gone. The next thing is the jumping test, which requires coming up here and getting a chest, and then there's a swimming test, so we jump down and we do the swimming test, which just requires going under the water here. So we do that, but whilst we're here we grab some of these bags of money. We will need to buy things. The unit of currency here is Zorkins. We'll need quite a few of those. So here's Jan, he's just about here, and we can initiate the sneaking test. Now, I'm not sure why Jan is the one performing the test, because he's very unobservant, but what we have to do is we have to collect this bit of fruit that he's putting down. Oh, watch his leg when he does this. Bonk. And we've then got to get that bit of fruit, without him spotting us, which is actually really easy. So yeah, we just duck down behind here, and then when he looks back, that's it. We can now just sort of go for the fruit. It won't register that we've got it unless you're prone, so that's why I go prone.
Give me a second.
At which point you speak to him, you go, "How have I done with the test?" He goes, "Yeah, no, you've done great," and he gives me a pair of binoculars, at which point I have to go and talk to his dad, Zokram, who will then open the Daoka for me. The Daoka it's a bit like a Stargate, and it connects different areas of Adelpha. There are 6 areas of Adelpha, and they're all connected with Stargates, or Daoka. So I talk with him. He's going to go off to activate the Daoka. It takes him a bit of time. That gives me some time to stock up on a bit more ammo, because we are going to need that. Now, here's the interesting thing. Zokrim will normally fiddle about with the Daoka, and it'll take a good 5-10 seconds for it to start working. But if you talk to him at just the right time, instantly opens the Daoka, and we get through into the world of Shamazar. Now I'm in water. Here's the first bit of speed tech. Every time I swim, I will try and do so in first person and strafe swim, because this game doesn't have strafe running, but it does have strafe swimming. So that's weird, but only in first person as well. If you're in third person mode, it doesn't work. You have to be in first person, and then strafe swimming is faster than normal swimming. So every time we swim, we do that. What we're going to do now is head off and try and find out about the Mon. We're going to go to a village and talk to the Shamaz, the local holy man there, and he's going to tell us that he doesn't know where the Mon is, but Narn has been looking for it, and then we've got to go and find Narn. But before we do all of that, we're going to grab a key and get into a storehouse, and that storehouse is really important because it contains 3 teleporters, and the teleporters in this game are very handy. They work by having like a marker and a receiver, and if you use them the first time, it drops a marker, and then the next time you use it, it teleports you to that marker, so that's really handy. What I do here is just bind the keys to F4, which means I can just easily access them. So that's one teleporter, another teleporter, and I grab some more money, a bit of ammo, and then I've got to talk to the Shamaz. So that was really quick. I'm also going to bind the teleporters to function keys as well for easy access. And I drop the first marker, which is the yellow thing, bump, there. And then I talk to the Shamaz. He's going to tell me about Narn. But he's also going to tell me that he doesn't know where Narn is, and I should probably speak to his brother Ilot, who's out in the field. So I'm now going to go and find Ilot. Something I should tell you, first of all, is to do with medkits. I've already used one, but you may have not noticed. There's a glitch in this game, just a baseline glitch that works out of the box, where the medkits and the healing plants are bound to function keys, so you can use them quickly. Every time you use one of those, it spawns either a health pack or a medical plant right in front of you, and you collect it again, mostly. So, yeah, infinite medkits. I don't know why, but it's very handy. This is down where Ilot is, and you'll notice there are a lot of guards around. This is a very heavy reset point, because I have to not be spotted by any of these guards, and they have just random routes, so it's difficult to do. I've got to do this 3 times, so this is the first time. So I talk to him about Narn. He goes, "I can't speak to you, I've been beaten, I need to be healed." So you then go back to the Shamaz using the teleporter and get him to go and heal Ilot. There's a key in here, I'm going to need that later. So the Shamaz is going off to heal Ilot, and I can't teleport straight to Ilot and wait for him because it will deload the Shamaz. He has to be loaded in the whole time whilst he's running there, which is why this just takes a little bit of time. Whilst I'm here, I'm going to shoot open this chest and get a tablet, a stone tablet out of it. I'll explain about that later. So here I just look on the minimap, the bright blue dot is the Shamaz, and once he's at the limit of my of him being loaded in, I then move up a little further, and all this does is it stops the soldiers being spawned in quite so early, and because they sometimes block him going up these stairs. There he is going up the stairs. Once he's up there, I can teleport here, and the Shamaz is still spawned in. It's really useful. But it's going to take a bit of time for the Shamaz to get to Ilot and heal him, so I then am going off and doing something else. I'm going to get a statue from this storehouse. So again, first-person mode, strafe swimming, but also you're not supposed to get out of water except in designated places where there are jetties or where the water's too shallow to swim. But if you're in first-person mode, there are certain areas which will detect you as if you're on land, and you can just jump straight out of the water. It's really, really handy, and they tend to be in places which are incredibly useful for the speedrun. So I've done a bunch of stuff with teleporters just because I need to be teleporting back and forth.
Can I see you for a second?
And this is the final time I speak to Ilot, and he tells me he doesn't know where Narn is, but this does advance the main quest storyline. So when I've done all that, I teleport back to here, because now I'm going to the main temple in the middle of Shamazar, which is the Fey Temple. It's where the Mon is. I don't know that that's where the Mon is yet, but I can hop up at this point here. Now the Temple Fey has 2 Daoka, which lead to other lands, and as I say, the Mon, but I can't access the Mon right now, and I'll be doing all of that later. Right now, I'm just coming here to grab some money, which are in these chests right ahead of me, and to go through the Daoka and do some of the other worlds before finishing off Shamazar later. So I just come straight into here, into Motazar. Motazar is a mountainous region. There's a lot of mining goes on here. There's lava. It's a little inhospitable. But we spawn right in the middle of a soldier camp. Now I'm going to drop a marker down here, because I'll be coming back later to do something important. And then I hop up here. There's some dynamite in this pond, which I need for later on, so I grab that. And then I'm going up here to where there's a bridge. Now, the Mon here is being held by the Shamaz, but the Shamaz is in prison, and he's in prison on the other side of this rift where there's a bridge, and I have to stop the soldiers getting across to him to kill him, which means breaking the bridge. So I break the bridge, drop a teleport marker because I'm coming back, and then head on my way. Once I've delayed the guards enough, I can fix the bridge again and get across. Although, as you'll see, I never do that, because it's quicker not to fix the bridge. So I'm here by a windmill. I will be coming back very shortly, so I drop a teleport marker here, and then I drop some dynamite right there. And that's an important position, because I'm going to come back here where there'll be 3 soldiers, and if I shoot that dynamite quickly enough, I can kill all of the soldiers without killing the Talan that I need to speak to who's there. It's more of an art than a science. But in the meantime, I come to the main village and speak to the guy in charge of the village, and normally he would tell me that I need to delay the soldiers by destroying the bridge. I've already destroyed the bridge mechanism, so that's great. So I talk to him. He tells me, well, the engineer's not going to be very happy. You need to go and speak to the engineer. The engineer will be where I just dropped that teleport marker. So I get my teleport marker and my teleporter and my gun out, teleport there, and try and very quickly shoot the dynamite. It missed this guy, but fortunately the other 2 are dead. Now, I bump a few bullets into him, and then, this is important, I finish him off with punches. Because if I'd finished him off with bullets, this guy would cower for so much longer. Whereas if you finish him off by punching him, he comes out of this cowering animation and can be interacted with much sooner. So this is the engineer. He wants to fix the bridge again. He tells you that he's got an assistant who's gone off to get a part, but he's not come back. So you need to go off and find him and find out what's going on with the part. We will never return the part to him. This is just to advance the main storyline. So what we're going to do is we're going to speak to this guy ahead of us. He's not the assistant. You see that leg on the ground in front of him? That's the assistant. He's been dragged off by Gamors, which are a kind of dog-tiger cross. they're kind of angry. They're not the nicest of things. But they've dragged off the assistant and the part with it, so I have to go and get the part and see if the guy's alright. He's not. His leg's there. He's not alright. So I follow this trail of clothes, and when I get the mechanical part, that will trigger soldiers to spawn in that main camp I first came here in, and they will have the key to get the Shamaz out of prison, and I need that. So I'm going to grab this part, there'll be a cutscene I quickly skip, and then I teleport to the soldier camp with my gun out, and I have to identify the one of the 3 elite guards here who has the key, because when you kill him, he drops it. So it's neither of those 2, so it must be the 3rd one who's running here. So I need to drop a teleport marker again, kill this guy, pull out my teleporter that has the marker near the bridge. Once I get the key, I can teleport there, and then I'm going to cross the rift without fixing the bridge, which is easy because you can just climb up here, and then walking forward as it's swinging just sort of clips you on top, and then you're across. This cuts out a big fight sequence where you have to protect the guy who's fixing the bridge, and then the bridge all swings into place. So now we're on the other side of the bridge, we have the trials. The first is a maze, which isn't that difficult to get through, and there are a couple of little shortcuts. This is the first one, which is up here, and then I'm going to bypass that little loop to the left here by just jumping straight over here. Then there are going to be 3 trials that I skip. They are rolling boulders, rising columns in lava, and tilting moving platforms over lava. They're slow to do, and it turns out that you can just jump up the slope that these rolling boulders are rolling along and bypass them altogether. So I do this in first person mode because I find I get better purchase on the slope, at which point I'm then up and next to all of these trials, and I don't even have to worry about them. It's marginally quicker than actually doing the trials. The final trial... Now there's an example of a medkit spawning as I use it, and I didn't happen to collect it that time, so it drops. So sometimes you have to do that. Anyway, this is the last trial, which is fiery lava puddles, and if you just hug this side of the wall, there's really only one lava pool that you have to worry about. I am spamming medkits the whole time just in case, because if you catch fire, that will save your life. But that pool there that I've just jumped past, that's the one that can explode and kill you. It's not the end of the world, because you can... I found a way of coming back to life in this game, but I don't use it.
Second.
So there, I've rescued the Shamaz, he's given me the Mon, and then I teleport back here, and I'm out of Motazar, and that's it, that's Motazar done. Now I'm going back to Shamazar, but really I want to be an Okasankar, which is the next Mon that I'm going to get, which just happens to be this Daoka. So I go through here, again you're going to be into a soldier's camp, so you have to be very quick to kill these machine gunners, because they can brutalise you. Again, I drop a teleport marker, because I'll be coming back here. And then I start collecting things that I need. So the general idea here is that the Mon has been put on an island that no one can access, that's protected by a Gorgor and a swim through insta-kill fish infested waters. I've just killed that. That's a Z-Dog. I've just killed it to get its gland. I'll need that, and I'll explain why. And then I'm going to this Darasham to collect some mushrooms. You need to help a hunter, get his gun, get his ammo, and then you go and kill a Gorgor. So, if you shoot those in the right order, it opens up, and you can go in and get these 3 mushrooms. They're called Booyat. So you grab these 3 mushrooms, and then leave this place. It's where Croax takes people to be executed. It's not a nice place. So now that I've got my 3 mushrooms, I need to collect Oru's gun. And Oru's gun is in a sunken temple. which requires you and another Talon to press a button at the same time, which opens the gate and then you can get in and access it. I'm not going to do any of that. What I'm going to do is just clip in through the wall. And again, we'll be in first person while swimming. First person and swimming is a real glitchy state. So I go into first person, and I just sort of rub myself against the wall, and then I'm through it. It's really useful. So there's the gun. I grab that. I grab some dynamite and a bit more ammo, and then clip out, and I've got to go to the city Cyana, which is ahead of me there. And it's occupied by a bunch of soldiers. I have to kill them all before anyone will speak to me. So that's the next thing. Quickest way to get up is here, and that's a very tricky jump. But there's the main soldier guy, the one with the nasty weapon, is just round this corner, and he has a key. I need that key, so it's important I kill him. He dies fast, and he drops the key. So there he goes, drop the key, and I've grabbed it. And now I just have to kill the rest of these soldiers here, at which point the Shamaz will speak to me, and he can tell me about Oru the Hunter, and the Mon, and that I have to kill a Gorgor. Or that I have to help Oru kill a Gorgor. Gorgor is a kind of semi-aquatic dinosaur. Now sometimes you only get 3 or 4 soldiers spawn here, and I don't know what triggers that. But it does make this fight a lot quicker if that does happen. So I'm going to go and see the Shamaz, but I need to come back here, so I drop a teleport marker. Now you may wonder why I don't use teleport markers more liberally on the islands, because that would make things a lot easier. Unfortunately, the game devs figured that out. It would kind of soft lock your game if that happens, so they don't let the teleporters work in a lot of places in Okasankar, which is a shame. So, yeah, I've been told about Oru and the Mon, and so I now have to go across to Oru's island. He lives on a little island across the way, and the only way to get there is by a boat. Drop another teleport marker here for later. The problem with this boat is it has a hole in, and the only way to fix it is with a Z-Dog gland. Fortunately, I've got a Z-Dog gland, so I just give it to this guy, I put the gland in his hand, he fixes the boat, and then I can go across to Oru's island and do a bit more stuff. Now, something is coming up that's really big, which is an unskippable cutscene, and I figured out ways to skip certain parts of it. So, this game has 4 unskippable cutscenes, and they're all with Marion contacting you and telling you that things are going wrong, or you're in danger, or you need to go somewhere. You can ignore most of them, that's fine. She's not really in danger. But a cutscene will only play under certain conditions, so you can't be standing on... You have to be standing on the voxel ground, you can't be in water, you can't be jumping, you can't be in combat. There are a bunch of things that stop these cutscenes playing. So I sort of buffer it so it'll play here. At which point, I hit the F1 button, which is the help screen, and what that does is it sort of breaks Cutter out of the cutscene, so when the other person is talking, he can crawl, and when he's talking, he can run. But if you get far enough away from Marion here, it just skips her lines altogether. So that's a pretty long cutscene that's now been massively reduced. So now I'm going to do some more... Right, that's an insta-kill fish, which almost got me. I've got to wait till it's a little further away, otherwise runs over. But I'm coming across to this place. It's a prison island. It's called Zorkatraz, and it has someone in the prison who has the final no, not the final booyat that I need, but the 4th booyat. The key to his cell is held by this guy. I can clip in there, but it's quicker usually just to kill this man and get the key. So he dies. There's the key. At which point I can go and get another booyat. Now essentially I'm telling this guy he's free to go, but I've not killed any of the soldiers, so I'm not sure how free he is. But I talk to him, he goes, oh yeah, I've got something for you. Because normally I should know about booyats by the time I get here, but I've sequence braked by swimming across to this place, which you're not supposed to do. And then... Now this is the problem, when there are aggroed soldiers around, a cowering Talan won't talk to you. Oh, also, the F1 button here kind of breaks you out of this little sequence, so you can start running out of the cell before the conversation ends. It's a little time save, saves about a second. So now I've got to swim back across the water. You normally can't swim at all because of these insta-kill fish. You see, they're kind of all over the place, and you just have to be lucky that they aren't too close to where you want to swim. So I'm going to go back to Oru's island and speak to Oru. So I couldn't see any fish around. It's probably not safe, but I do it anyway, and luckily enough, I make it. So I'm running to those lights ahead of us. That's Oru's hut. You've sort of got to run the gauntlet of more Z-Dogs, those tentacle monsters. But if I kill this one straight ahead of me, it just makes things a lot easier. You can sort of hop through. I'll be spamming medkits the whole time. But you can sort of hop through here. But just killing one of them makes it so much easier. So I hop across here. Now what I'm going to try and do is rouse Oru early by shooting at his house. It sometimes works, it sometimes doesn't. Because it takes him a while to get up after you speak to him. You see, it didn't work. Shorty. So it takes a while for him to get up. You can sometimes skip this. It's very iffy. Anyway, he's going to tell you that he needs his gun and he needs his ammo, and you need to speak to some guy about his ammo. Because whilst you have a chunk of it, you don't know that you've got a chunk of it. But I am going to collect more before I leave. So I now have to run the gauntlet of these big tentacle monsters again. Which again, with that one dead there, you can just sort of skirt in this direction, and I don't think I got hit at all. But I am spamming the medkit key the whole time because they hit really hard, and a couple of shots in the right place can kill you. So if you spam the medkits enough, it's fine. Anyway, I've got to go across to another island to collect some daggerak, which are a flower, also part of Oru's ammo. I don't know that these are daggerak yet either, but I'm going to collect them. I need 5 of them. And this island has gamors, the tiger dogs. They're good boy, don't worry about them. They can't do much damage to you. So I do this little loop, and that's the 5th one there. And now I have to go back to the city Sayana, because I need to speak to the guy who knows about Oru's ammo, and I have everything that I need except for one more mushroom. I need one more mushroom, and there's a guy here who will sell me one for an exorbitant amount of money, and this is why we've been collecting, or one of the reasons we've been collecting money on the way. This is one of 2 things we need to buy in this run. Because buying the Booyat is a lot easier than doing the quest that he sends you on to get it for free. Now, you can't teleport when you're on that island, but there's a certain point across this water where your teleporters start working again, and so I can skip the last little bit of this journey just by teleporting at that point. I'll need to come back here, so I drop another teleport marker, and then I need to speak to this guy, and he's going to tell me about Booyat, about daggerak, and about the trader who will sell me the final Booyat. He's the one that I dropped the teleport marker next to after liberating the city. So it's this guy. So I talk to him, ask him about Booyat, and like I say, he'll sell me one. If you don't have the money, you've just got to run around and find money. It's not good. So I've routed in some pretty solid money finding routes. So when I finish speaking to him, I need to go back to the boat, so I just teleport back to the other side of Sayana just in time for this boat getting in, and he can take me back to Oru, because I now have I have his gun, I have all the things for his ammo, and I know that I have that, so I can then go talk to Oru and we can kill a Gorgor. Okay, now a lot's going to happen in a cutscene, which I'm going to skip. So I'll explain that to you as I'm running back to Oru's hut. So in the cutscene, Oru is going to take us across to the island where the Gorgor is in a boat. Now, the island where the Mon is a little further out, but we need to kill the Gorgor, so I smell like Gorgor, which scares the fish and means I can swim across the water, because all of this water is just deadly. The problem is, as soon as we get to the island, in the cutscene, Oru is going to be killed and eaten by the Gorgor. So we're sort of left on our own, and we have to use his gun in conjunction with our gun, because our gun isn't good enough.
Yo, shorty.
Whereas if you hit the Gorgor with his gun, and then use your gun, he'll drop in 2 or 3 clips.
What? Yeah.
So I give him all the stuff he needs, and then I skip a cutscene, and that's his gun on the floor. So I grab it and equip it, and then I'm trying to kite the Gorgor over in this direction. It aggroes really early, which is good. So you hit it with Oru's Amu, that stuns it, and you can then start shooting it with your rubbish little gun. And bang, it's dead. At which point you stand near it,
Great.
you get this...
Now I stink like that Gorgor.
Yeah, you get this Gorgor stench, and then I have to swim over to that island there where the Mon is. It's in a little black box. Again, I will strafe swim for speed. And once you've got the Mon, another cutscene plays which takes you back to Cyana. I'm going to skip all of that. I'm going to pause a little bit because sometimes you can soft lock there. And then I'm done with Okasanka. I have the Mon, so I leave. Not quite. I'll be coming back a couple of times, but that's the Mon got. And now I'm in Shamazar, and I'm going to finish getting them on here. So, just to be sure, for money, I grab that box of Zorkans. Now, okay, to get them on, the Mon is at the Temple Fae. What you have to do is collect statues, put statues in a recess in 3 other temples, and that will raise some steps in the Temple Fae. So this storehouse over to the left is where I'm going to get the other... Now this is real glitchy to get out of. It takes a while to get out, so I don't like doing that in first person. I'm going to drop a teleport marker here for much later on. And I'll explain that later. And get into this storehouse to grab another statue. At which point I'll have 2 statues, because I got 1 statue the first time I was here. And I've just got another statue now. And I'm going to swim across to where the temples are. There's an area where I can hop out of the water right here. There we go. And it's just really nicely set out. The temples just happen to be in the order that I have the statues for. So I'll use 2 statues, then there'll be another storehouse that I go into to get the 3rd statue, at which point I can go to the last temple and activate that. But we still haven't seen Narn, and Narn's really important because Narn has the last statue which we need to use in the Temple Fae in order to put out the flame, and that essentially spawns in the Mon, and we can collect it then. So that's what I'm doing here. However, the Narn plotline does not get completed by putting these statues in. You have to speak to another Shamaz who's here. Oh, I'm getting shot at, which is why this visual glitch sometimes happens. I have to talk to a Shamaz, but the Shamaz isn't very well, and he needs a type of fruit called magua to make him better, and then he can talk to you. So that's the last statue I grab. If you don't have enough coins at this point, there are 3 bags of Zorkans right there which you can grab, and that usually knocks you up over, because you need 100 left over at this point in order to buy the magua. Unfortunately, the magua is something that only soldiers are allowed to buy, so it's a bit of a black market, so you have to speak to someone about it, and they go, well, maybe you should talk to this chap. Now, I'll be coming back here because I need to give the magua to this guy. So I drop a teleport marker, talk to him about magua, and then I can go on and find him one. So I'll go up here, put in the last statue here, and this will trigger a cutscene which shows the steps rising. There we go, which I skip. And now I could go to the guy who sells Magua straight away, but he won't tell me that he sells it. I have to speak to a different Talan, any different Talan about Magua, and he says, well, maybe you should speak to Logar. And once you know that, then Logar can give you the Magua. But until then, it's not going to be a conversation option. So there will be a patrol of soldiers here, these 3 guys. I will kill them, they'll try and kill me. I'll try and finish them off with punching, because this fight will make Logar cower, and it'll take ages for him to actually speak if you don't. So, there we go. We've got 1 soldier left. Bomb. And he's dead. And there we go. Instantly Logar there has essentially de-aggroed, and you can talk to him now. So you talk to him, and you buy the Magua. It's really important that you do not skip his line. That you don't skip his line until it goes into your backpack. There's an audio cue to show that it's gone into your backpack. If you don't do that, it vanishes from your backpack. You can get it back with a save load, and it'll appear again, but that's a bit of a time waste, so it's best just not to have that happen at all. So you give the Magua to this guy. Then, do you remember the stone tablet we got from the box? That was this guy's. So he's like, oh, well, I'll show you the order in which to do everything. We've already done it. It doesn't matter. We still need to do this because this is what triggers Narn to come through one of the Daoka in the Fey Temple. So we're going to teleport back to the Fey Temple. There's Narn. And we kill him. We kill him because he has the key, and he's going to die anyway, and if he doesn't get killed, there's a big long speech that he makes. So I put the key in there, or the statue in there. It puts the flame out at the top of the temple, and that was protecting the Mon. So I can now grab the Mon. It does seem a bit brutal that we shoot Narn, and he has such a brief appearance. But there you go. Now what I'm going to do here is make a save. This is really important. This isn't for safety or anything. This is tech in the run. Because if I don't make this save, and I go through this Daoka to Okasankar now, the game would crash. If I make that save, it doesn't crash. I don't know why, but it's really handy to know. So, I'm through to Okasankar. I want to come back here, but I'm going to Okar, which is the next region, which is going to have the 4th Mon. But before I go there, I've collected 2 Mon in fairly quick succession without a Marion cutscene. And you really should get one after every Mon, but because I'm doing things so quickly, I essentially have 2 cutscenes lined up. So the first one I want to trigger here. There we go. And I break out of it, and I start crawling away towards the Daoka to the next place that I want to go to. And once I get far enough away, her lines just stop playing. So there we go, that's her lines no longer playing. And it gives me the opportunity to get to the Daoka and just wait until this cutscene's over. The Daoka isn't active until about 3 seconds after the cutscene finishes. But if I'm standing in the right place, I'll then just instantly teleport as soon as I can. So that's that cutscene done. There is another cutscene due. Don't press any movement keys when going through that Daoka, it will crash your game. So, I drop that's a bit of a theme of this game. I drop a teleport marker at the Daoka there, and normally you're supposed to kind of go down across a bridge, and I think that takes a bit of time. It's actually a lot easier to go across this way. You shouldn't be able to cross here. It's a rushing stream that should draw you down if you fall in. But you can just sort of jump over it, that's fine. And the next cutscene is due to play, but it won't play until you're in an area it likes, far enough away from soldiers, and after a certain amount of time has passed. So I find if I run up to there and then run back down here, it'll be just about ready for the cutscene to play down in this area. At which point I can break out of it and try and get as far as I can. Sometimes, I think I cut one line here. Yeah, but there's one line is cut here. Sometimes you can cut Zokram's lines. But I don't think I do in this case. It's very easy to get hung up on things because when another person is talking, you can only crawl And also, the direction that you are moving is it's in relation to the camera. So if the camera is looking in the opposite direction to the way you want to go, you've got to go backwards, and then right becomes left. It's pretty horrible to actually try and maneuver without seeing anything. But what I'm trying to do is get as far as I can to where I want to be, which is where the Mon is. Now, normally in this world, you have to collect a bunch of stuff to get some keys. You have to block that stream that I jumped across. You get 2 keys. You can unlock a room in a soldier camp, and the Mon is in there. But the Mon is there the whole time. So if you can clip into that building, you can just collect the Mon, and that's what I do. So here I'm doing something called backwards phasing. Backwards phasing is a way to get over and through walls. If in third person you aim your gun and move backwards into a wall, you sort of start phasing into it. And then if you change to first person, it just clips you straight to the top, which is very handy. So this is the building that the Mon is in. The roof isn't particularly well made because there's a little gap which is just wide enough to let Cutter fall through. At which point I've got the Mon and I can teleport out of there. Oops, that was the wrong teleport. Teleport out of there. And that's the Okar Mon done. That's the quickest Mon of all of them. Now, the last cutscene that played essentially told me that Jan was being held in the Darasham in Okasankar. I just grabbed this dynamite for later. And that's the Darasham straight ahead. He's being held there. Normally you have to go to the door, try and open the door. That triggers a cutscene and then a fight with Croax. And you have to kill all of his guards and defeat Croax, like get his health down enough and he teleports away. And then you can go in and speak to Jan. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to use backwards phasing again up on this bit up here and just clip into the Darasham from above, like that. And Jan's right here, and you can talk to him, and he essentially says, oh yeah, thanks for saving me, but go away. He's a real stroppy guy. He's not happy about something. Anyway, that counts as rescuing Jan. I'll grab a bit more dynamite here, and now I have to wait. I have to wait a minute after speaking to Jan, a cutscene will play. And the cutscene will tell me that I have to go to Ranzar, which was the tutorial area, the first place that I had to go. Or the first place that I spawned in. Unfortunately, if I start going straight there now, the cutscene won't play. So what I really have to do is make the cutscene play when I'm in Okasankar. However, if the cutscene plays... okay. The Darasham is another place at this point you can't use your teleporters, otherwise you could kind of teleport in and break it. I'll break it anyway, but it doesn't matter. You can't use the teleporter near the Darasham, so if you run far enough away from the Darasham, then as soon as this cutscene finishes, I can teleport back to the Daroka, get to Shamazar, and get to Ranzar.
Damn you!
Wolf?
Zoo's here! He's here and the Guardian camp is under attack! Get here! Look out!
Yeah, so she's just saying the Guardian camp is being attacked. Help. So we now have to go to Ranzar. So that cutscene finishes, we teleport to the Daroka and go back to Shamazar. At which point we're going to again drop a teleport marker right by the Daroka because we'll need to be coming back. And then we teleport to that one that we left a while back before we did all of the statue business and the temples, because that is the closest place we get to the Ranzar Daroka whilst we have teleporters. So it just cuts off a little bit of our journey. Okay, so what's going to happen is, I go to Ranzar, it's all burnt up, Jan's there, Jan says, oh, I'm really sorry, the reason I was real snippy was because I was essentially being watched by Feyran the whole time. He tortured me into getting this information out of me, and now all of the Adelphan resistance, the Dolotai Guardians, the resistance force, have been taken to Okar to be executed or something. Let me just say, I drop a teleport marker right by the Daroka here because, again, I need to leave at some point, and it just cuts out like about 5 seconds of running back to it. So I speak to Jan, he's like, oh, this is terrible, this is awful. And so I have to go to Okar to rescue all of the Dolotai Guardians. Now, a lot of things are going to happen in very quick succession, so I'm going to finish this conversation, I'm going to go through the teleporter, I'm then going to go into first-person mode and get out the teleporter for the Fey Temple marker, and because I get detected on ground there, you can't use teleporters when you're in water, so I get detected on ground in first-person mode, and then you can use it in that frame, at which point I teleport here, go through this. Now, what I'm doing is I have the teleporter in my hand, I'm pressing the use key. What that does is it breaks the marker. The marker goes to a default position on this map, which I can then teleport to, and it's ever so slightly closer to where I need to be than if I just run straight there from the Daoka. It renders your teleporter utterly useless for doing anything but teleporting back to that position in this map. Which is why it could be handy for other places, but I don't use it anywhere else because it would render my teleporters redundant. I'd lose way more time in the long run. So what's going to happen here is there'll be a cutscene, Marion will come, save the day, rescue all of the Dolotai Guardians, and I'll have to mop up the soldiers. Unfortunately, I'll have all of my inventory taken off me apart from one gun and, I don't know, about 20 rounds. So I've got to kill a lot of soldiers with not very much. Now I can beat them to death. There's some ammo around here. Or I can do this. That guy in black with the explosive weapon, you'll see there's some dynamite on the left there. I need that. His explosive weapon could trigger that dynamite if it detonates too close, so I've got to be really careful. I also have no health packs at this point, so dying is a possibility, but it's more of an inconvenience at this point. So I blow up that dynamite, I try and kill as many soldiers as possible. And then I run in here, there's a medkit. I can grab this medkit and heal up. At which point I've then just got to finish everyone off, and once they're all dead, I can leave at the gate. Essentially trigger a cutscene to leave. If you're lucky, you can kill most of these guys in one go, but it's tricky, it's RNG, it's down to whatever they decide that they're going to do. This is the last guy. I killed him with my final bullet, at which point I'm about to trigger the final boss fight. So we get taken to Talonzar, which is a great big desert city with a palace in it. These are the palace grounds, and that guy there is Croax. That's the guy I have to kill to win the game. Unfortunately, I've got to kill all of his elite guard here first, who are the ones in red, these guys, just before I'm even allowed to damage him. These elite guards take about 25 shots each to kill. However, at this point I'm given back all of my inventory, so all of the dynamite I've collected in this run I have now. So I'm going to use this to try and kill all of these elite guards as quickly as possible. They're pretty susceptible to dynamite, and they also like to run towards you. So a lot of the time you can like this, just kind of lure them in, blow them up, and they're dead. Now, I think they were the last... Yeah, they were the last of the elite guards, so now I have to find Croax. He teleports around, he's so annoying. He is so annoying. So that's him. But also, there are other soldiers who sort of wandered in from elsewhere. I don't have to bother with them. Only the elite guards. But those other soldiers are going to cause problems, because some of them look a lot like Croax. So that... Yeah. There he is. Doing a lot of teleporting around. You've sort of got to try and spot him on your mini-map. It's really annoying, it's really horrible. But I'm just trying to empty as many bullets as I can until I've run out. Just to do the most damage. Now, the run ends when you skip the cutscene after he's died. That's the end of that's time. So I'm out of bullets now, so all I've got left to do is beat him to death with my fists. So I punch him until he's dead, at which point a cutscene plays. Me skipping that cutscene is time, and it's coming up now. And that's time, and that was a 46:06. The previous world record was a 49:07, so that's more than 3 minutes cut from the world record using this route. I'm very pleased. And then you get a dance party at the end. I mean, the time it says on the screen there, I have an auto splitter, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. It auto splits just on the credits screen. So actually my time is a little before that. And yeah, 46:06. This is a really fun game to run. It's really enjoyable. And what was even more fun was coming up with a route and then finding out that actually my route could knock over 3 minutes off the world record, and there's still time saves here. But this has been a blast. Oh, don't forget to like the video if you did. I've got some other speedrunning videos on the channel if you want to check them out. But there we go. I'll leave you with this funky dance number. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope it's inspired you.
No, start again, you zork. Solo tai que tocar.